Well, hello, friends, and I'd like to invite you to a new webinar with the amazing Darby Costello called 2023 From Crisis to Maturity. Hey, Darby, thanks for joining me today.
It's a pleasure, Tony. Always a pleasure.
So good to see you. So, can you tell folks a little bit about what you're going to share with them in this webinar and maybe what inspired you to put this topic together for us?
Yeah. As you know, I'm always working on it right to the last 20 minutes, so I'm 2 weeks away or, 10 days away. So I still have, but I've been fascinated with Pluto in Capricorn, Neptune in Pisces since 2006. Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008 and then Neptune into Pisces a year and a half, 2 years later. And I got obsessed with the last six times in the last 3,000 years they have been together. So I've been paying attention to that much more than anything else. I know lately people have been paying attention to the Jupiter Saturn conjunction changing elements, but I haven't really watched that. I've been watching these two together. And so I've been, for the last year or so, noticing, we're coming to the end of Pluto in Capricorn, Neptune in Pisces, and we're heading now to Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune in Aries. And so I just started observing what happened, what's the next stage in the last cycles we've been in. And then, I don't know, about a couple of months ago, I registered that the whole of the transition, in other words, Pluto goes into Aquarius, back to Capricorn, back into Aquarius, back and forth. And then Neptune goes into Aries, back into Pisces, back and forth. And they don't really settle until the beginning of 2026. And they start going back and forth in March of 2023. And almost the whole of that time, Saturn's in Pisces. So I thought, well, that's interesting. So I thought, so we're heading to the next stage of the transformation of our society. And it's going into Pluto in Aquarius, that all the ideas that have been broken down and reshaped and removed and something will start becoming part of everyone's problem or delight. In other words, the people are going to get it. The people, and the best and the worst will happen to each of us, Aquarius. And so I thought, so we have to pay a lot of attention to the transition period, March of next year till January of 2026, because this is the transition between the two. And so I got really interested in how do we get to a place where, okay, I've got to say another thing. I'm moving to the side slightly, because yes, I'm aware that there'll be a recognition transformation in how we relate to each other as different communities and different ideologies. This is what I believe. This is the truth. No, this is the truth. This is the truth. But here in London or in England, we see documentaries every week about somebody who's gotten to know another species. It started with octopus a couple of years ago. Somebody did this amazing webinar program on octopus and how intelligent they are. And somebody I know wrote a book on mushrooms and how they communicate almost or navigate beneath it. And somebody else I know knows a lot about trees and how what their intelligence is about. And so I'm aware that we're discovering, whoever we are, some people within humanity, that I say it this way, an adolescent species on a planet with some very ancient species. And in a way, like adolescents, we've been shouting and yelling and we're superior, we're the ones who are ruling everything. And perhaps there's the possibility of a change of that, to recognize we're a species amongst other very ancient species. And how do we learn to live together in a new way? So I thought, so look at, and the transition between the two is Saturn and Pisces. So that's what I got really interested in. So the place we're coming from, Pluto and Capricorn, Neptune and Pisces, the place we're moving to, Pluto and Aquarius, Neptune and Aries, and this I say the reformation, the revolution that we're heading to, from all the changing ideas and understandings about the way the world works. And how do we navigate this middle ground so that each of us finds a way to mature in terms of our species, each of us separately. What does maturing mean to me? Maturing, not just in my own personal responsibility, but in relationship to the species I live in. What does that mean? How? And so that's what I became fascinated with and continue to be.
Beautiful. I can't wait to hearing the long version of that in the webinar. So thanks for giving us a little preview today, Darby. I appreciate you.
Real pleasure.
Well,
and
folks,
I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
Of course, yes. And folks, if you're interested in signing up and watching this webinar with Darby, head over to astrologyuniversity.com/events, where if you're tuning into this little preview before the live event, you'll find all of the details to register. And if you're tuning in afterwards, all you have to do is type in Darby's name in the search field of any page of the website. So just type in Darby Costello and find this webinar, or you can type in From Crisis to Maturity, if you can remember that, and search for the webinar that way. And as always, if you need any help finding it, just email us at help@astrologyuniversity.com. We have a help team always on hand to help you find whatever you need or get any technical assistance you need with the website. So, well, with that, I'll say goodbye for now. Thanks so much for joining me again today, Darby. And we look forward to seeing some of you at the webinar.